Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I shall see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, where we're relaxing as per usual. Yeah. What is up? I've beaten the midnight. I was going to say accusations. It's not the right word. But I'm playing. It's not midnight, so thumbs up. We're doing well for ourselves here. Part of me is kind of tempted, essentially, to literally sounds so stupid to literally play Starlight Stage at the same time because it's the last day of the event. And if I'm not careful, then I'm not actually going to get my stuff done, you know? Because I spent yesterday planning out the teams I was going to use. Maybe I did it this morning. I can't remember if it's yesterday or this morning, but we'll get into this. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11:21 PM on Sunday, September 14th, 2025. Yeah, the whole reason is mainly because it's the final ranking event in Starlight Stage. It's basically, quote, the final event. So it feels like a grand sort of thing, but I haven't had really a lot of time to plan for it. It's live carnival, which requires a lot of like organization of teams. You have to plan out basing on the cards you have, and then, you know, I'm a little bit behind of the meta and that sort of thing. And it's like, I don't know, I find it fun planning the optimization part of it. But now I actually need to do execution part of it and it ends tomorrow. So I'm just like, well, I should at least do well enough to get ranked, I think. But I've not had a lot of time today. I mean, I did a bit of streaming and I was a bit busy this morning. To be fair, I did have more time this evening, but then I just sort of relaxed and stuff instead. Oh, hello, Raymond. What would you like to say? Flashy cardigan. But we had a pretty good stream today. Like, blueprints were making good progress, I think. Again, I don't know how near the end we are, but like someone said about I was like a third of the way through, and part of me is just sort of like, wow. How could I possibly still be only a third of the way through? I don't know. Also, didn't we have a lost bag which we never gave to someone? Don't know what happened to that. Maybe I did give it to someone. But yeah, it's sort of like, how could I possibly only be a third of the way through the game still? It's like, how intense is this game? How many secrets are there to divulge is not the right word, but to discover, I suppose. And the answer is I don't know. But I had a good time. I think the drawing's been pretty decent. I will say, I looked at it afterwards comparing to a sketch and I was like, I think I made her eye too small. Because now she looks a little bit like she's meant to look sort of like anime-esque cute, and it's not like scary or anything, but it's sort of just like, I don't know, compared to the sketch, it didn't quite give off a right vibe, I think, of what I was going for. But that's okay, we'll fix it next time, if I remember. I guess it's nice, if anything, to have a more consistent streaming schedule. I do have D&D tomorrow. I've not really prepared for it, so that's kind of what I'll be doing after this. I have like ideas floating around. I'm not exactly certain what we're going to do is a problem, but I know what's immediately happening, which I can prep for. I just haven't yet. Well, to be fair, I haven't like written it down formally. It's more like I know vaguely what's going to happen, but like I should probably plan something a bit more concrete. I think that's Notion. Saying update Notion. You know, what's up with all these automatic updates? Like, part of me knows I should do automatic updates when they come in, but part of me is also like, what if there's like some, not game breaking bug, because that's the wrong word, but there's some like very big bug or flaw with the latest update which makes it not impossible to update, but makes it like impractical in the sense that if I do the update, like something will fail or something. Like I think it stems from this one time there's an Android update, and I used to always do updates basically as soon as I got them, but for whatever reason this day I didn't, and then there was a huge sort of like blow up on the internet where basically the new update like killed the battery life, and I was like, whoa, it's a good thing I didn't do that then, otherwise that could have been really bad. I would have, you know, my battery life would have been shot by doing a new update. Now, is that how things work nowadays? No, I think like there's a lot more sort of public and private testing which goes into these updates. I would think, I'm not exactly sure. And plus, you know, you could probably like not do them for like a couple of maybe like a week, and that would be like good enough. Like once a week's passed, you know, if any reports have actually come out of like a faulty update, you probably would have heard about it by now. If you haven't heard about it and you're not looking it up, and that's, you know, the onus is kind of on you at that point, isn't it? Well, at least that's my thought process. Maybe that's not the right way to think about things. I don't know. Yeah. I've been putting off this update to be found on my phone actually for a while, so maybe I should do that one too. You know what? Let's do it. Like, Android 16. How long's it been out for? Probably ages. Where is it? The Notion one, I always just do the update because why not? I think the updates have always been pretty good. Updates. System update. Update your device. Yes, restart now. Do the update, why not? Because I think it's the Android 16 update, but I think I've already done the Android 16 update, so maybe it's not. But the Nation ones have generally been pretty good. The OBS ones have also been pretty good for stability and stuff, I think. I say, not really knowing what the effect of the updates is. Sometimes like the interface changes a bit, and I'm like, whoa. Well, I'm not really one of those people who's like, oh, if it changes just a little bit, and I'm gonna like lose my mind or something. I'm just like, oh, it changed. That's that. Anticlimactic perhaps, I know, but still. But yeah. I should at least just sort of like do them more often, huh? It doesn't really make sense not to, I think, at this point. So I'm looking at like what the possible songs to play are, and I'm just trying to decide which one to do. Which one of these is the easiest 29 star to do? I guess it probably is Red Soul, but I'm not. Actually, it's probably Nocturne, isn't it? I'll do Red Soul. Red Soul's more fun. So that makes no sense for you. But yeah, like, logically in my head, I'm like, okay, it's reasonable to maybe not do updates exactly immediately, because you're like, oh, who knows, maybe there's a bit of instability. But the other part of my brain is also like, well, you're not checking to see if the updates are actually stable or not. You know, you're not like following the online internet resources to be like, oh, there are reports, you know, this update turns out is super, super unstable, don't do it. You know, if I was actually checking those, then it would make sense for me to not do the update immediately, you know, just wait for people to make a post. But I'm not doing that. It's just born from that one time I got lucky. And the update, oh my gosh, I'm not doing Red Soul, holy. I'm not used to whatever this chart map is. But it was the one time I basically got lucky and didn't do the update and thus sort of dodged a bullet. Not a big bullet because, I mean, you can just undo the update again. So it's really not that big a deal, but I don't know. Part of me is just like, well, that's just becoming, my livelihood is the wrong word, but it's like, that's becoming part of like how I interface to things from now on. Do I do the update? No. I will wait until it becomes a problem. Or until I'm forced my hand. Oh, it's also day 2000. Wow, crazy. What a monumentous day. And I still haven't done the thumbnail art. To be fair, I've also, like, it's been very busy. Like, I don't have a lot of time to work on the thumbnail art, which is the main problem I'm finding. But it's like, when do I actually do the thumbnail art? And it's like, well, I had to work on it like at 11 PM, but I'm like, well, you know, I got D&D on 2 other days, so it makes it kind of difficult. And like 2 other days before, I'm like working on D&D stuff. So it gives me like 1 day or something to actually work on it. I really should work on it more though. It's kind of embarrassing at this point that I haven't finished it. Part of me even was just like, what if I just rode this MS Paint thumbnail art to the end? And then just like use the one I'm doing now for next year. And I'm like, no, that's stupid. Don't do that. Come on. Like the aesthetic choice, like even though it's episode 2000, I think we're still weirdly just over halfway through the year, I think, or almost halfway through the year. So we can still have half a year of it like being on time, you know, being used. And plus people looking retroactively. Quite the era though. And it will give me, you know, hopefully when I finish it, it will give me some motivation to start the next one almost immediately. I don't know necessarily what the plan is for the next one, because this is the one I was most excited for, I think, to do. But then I also was just like, I think it's a bit overwhelming at the same time to do, so I haven't really done it. I have an idea. Actually, that's not a... Okay, I should do something which is a different vibe. I'm just trying to think now, because obviously they're all based off different NPCs nowadays. So it's sort of like, maybe I should try and figure out what element or which NPC to sort of tap into. Oh, we could do that one, actually. I actually completely forgot. That was the other idea I was going to have and maybe do for this time, but then I chose to do this one instead. I completely forgot about that. That sounds like a fun one. I don't know how it's going to work, though. That's a problem. With 10 villagers plus D plus an extra NPC, makes it rather difficult to do 12 people all on one thing. Doing 12 different things. Not necessarily 12, to be fair, but... Well, not necessarily 12 exactly different things, but certainly it's a bit of a balancing act, shall we say. But yeah, episode 2000 though, that's pretty exciting. To think I've done 2,000 of these every single day. Like, part of me sort of wants to reflect and be like, oh, you know, what has changed about me, I suppose, over the years. And probably a lot, but at the same time, maybe not much at the same time. I don't really know. I think this is very exciting. I'm sort of like now trying to take a moment of reflection and look back, but I mean, it's not like 2000 feels like more, like it feels even weirdly less like a milestone compared to some of the other places. Like some of the other numbers, like 1 year, right? I'm still very thankful that people are watching. If anything, I think I've grown from the streaming aspect of it. People are now like watching more of me, which is fun, to be honest. Like it's an unusual feeling in a certain ways. I've actually technically made a bit of money now from the channel, from people subscribing and from people donating bits, which is honestly bizarre if you told me at the beginning, because obviously I wasn't doing this for the money. Like, it's not particularly a sustainable job. I was doing it because I wanted to play games, and here I am still playing games. And then also now it's like there's a sense of community around it as well. People's name I recognize, like in the stream chat and in comments. I know I haven't really responded to comments, but I do see the comments. It just like, sometimes I'm just like, it takes a bit of effort to sort of like think about what to say in response. So it kind of means that I'm like I'm not sure procrastinating is the right word, but sort of delaying it, right? When I could just like, you know, heart a comment and move on. Like, I don't have to respond to it every time, but it's sort of like when things pile up, it becomes difficult. You gotta tackle it a bit at a time, and then eventually a little bit will sort of like become less. That was not a very elegant way to put it, but if you like dig up a mountain, you know, a little bit every single day, eventually it will just become a molehill, right? That's a general concept of it. Little and often, as my French teacher used to say, and I agree with in general, but sometimes it's hard to do little and often. As much as I compared myself to a robotic ant in this live stream, today's live stream, it is I am still a fallible human at the end of the day, who still must rest and still must make mistakes. Well, not must make mistakes, but still will make mistakes, I suppose, when it comes to things like that, you know? And at the end of the day, I guess I can't be too angry. Well, I wasn't really planning to be angry at all, but... I just sort of like I don't know. It's just sort of like, I think from my own perspective, perhaps I not overthink it, but I'm just like, oh, I think it's probably worse than it actually is. Probably like the commenters. or actually leave comments on, you know, if I get a response, even if it's 3 months later, I'll be like, whoa, you responded, fine. We're not going to be like, you're the worst person ever. Not that I think that, but it's also just like, I don't know. In some ways, I think it might be a mental block. But some ways it might not be. But every which way, I'm definitely thankful for the support I've gotten. I think 2,000 years, huh? 2,000 years? Wait, what? 2,000 days? I mean, that is like quite a few years. And I don't know. At some point, it's going to be, I feel like nothing again. What happens at 3,000? I don't know. I don't have anything planned for 2,000. There's not even a special thumbnail. Just the colours of all the numbers change. I'm also, you know, I've probably stopped doing, is the best way to put it, special Animal Crossing thumbnail arts, you know. Or doing anything particularly special for Animal Crossing. It's bad to be the solid rock of stability, in my opinion. From, like, start to end. It's here to be the consistent, I'm here, let's talk 20 minutes, you and me, each day. You know, in some ways, maybe that can be special. In some ways, I don't think it necessarily needs to be. If anything, there's more room now to do, because there's a bit of a limited scope of Animal Crossing of what special things you can really do. I think most of the sort of thematic talk ends up being like meta talk about what's going on in my life, you know, like when it's Christmas time, I'm not going to do like a Christmas special. I'm just going to talk about how I'm celebrating Christmas, I suppose. And that makes it like holiday themed, quote, quote, in its own right. And is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I think it's just times are changing. Like, it doesn't make sense to, apart from the anniversary of Animal Crossing, to do anything particularly special. Because I'm like, I can just do it for a different avenue now. Like, maybe I can do like a special stream or something, I don't know. Maybe that doesn't make sense either. Anyway, where am I going with this? I don't really know where I'm going with this, to be honest. I'm just sort of reflecting, okay? It's 2000. You allow me a moment of sentimentality of what this channel is, what it ends up meaning. I mean, it does mean a lot to me. I think it's a very sort of stable rock, interestingly, me in my life, or just like normalcy. I mean, sometimes it can be a bit of stress. Normally it's only stress when it's like there's a holiday coming up and I've got like a lot of things happening. And it sort of like comes down to why of what I'm doing. That can be a sort of like an element of stress, but at the end of the day, it's a sort of stress I signed up for. Because it's like a very comfortable, controllable stress, isn't it? If I end up missing like a day of recording, people aren't going to be like, whoa, how could you? People are going to be like, oh yeah, you know, we understand. You got to balance things out. I mean, it's like when I went down from 3 videos a day to 2 videos a day. In my mind at the time, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm betraying the people who watch the videos. But basically, everyone was like, yeah, cool, chill. Take a healthier balance with it. So yeah, I don't know. Also going down from Animal Crossing half an hour to 20 minutes. I think that's also probably another part as well. Would it go down to 15 minutes in the future? Maybe. I don't know. I feel like if it does go down, it has to be for something else, which I don't know if it would at the moment. It would just be sort of laziness. Because sometimes, I'll be real, sometimes I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, I don't feel like recording Animal Crossing yet. I don't want it to become a chore, is a problem. But it's a lot of times it's more just like, oh, you know, I put energy elsewhere. Like I put energy in recording of videos or doing a live stream today. And that makes it difficult to be like, oh yeah, let's record another 20 minutes on top of that. It doesn't mean I don't want to do it. It doesn't mean I dislike doing it. There's some days it's like, oh, you know, I leave it a bit late. Some days I do just like, it's become so like natural now, but I kind of forget. Which is why like, I used to try and do a thing that was basically like 6 PM or something. Let's record with Animal Crossing. But that's, you know, not always the easiest thing to balance. Anyway. On that note, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.